Morning, folks. So, something's been on my mind for realistically several years, but it really came into focus the other night. So, starting back when Barack Obama was president, you had so many people who were trying to point out all his many flaws and hardly any good he may have actually done. And starting with the next president, Donald Trump, people were immediately noticing how the same things Trump was doing that Obama had done, they were praising him for. And those people were calling the Republicans hypocrites because of their sudden switch. I agree. Now, with President Biden, things are going the other way around again. Seriously, this is maddening. Anyway, now, you may have heard about actor Jussie Smollett. In case you haven't, for some reason, here's a little catch up to speed. He, a year or so ago, had called in he called the police to say that he was a victim of a hate crime, that he was attacked for being a gay black man. Only it was found out there was no attackers at all. He had literally called in a hoax. Recently, after a court and trial, it was found he was guilty of committing a federal crime of faking a crime. Seriously, how's that? Well, where my thoughts are going with this is there was a lady on a TikTok live event. Sorry, a little fly. And she was saying that she was so hardcore Democratic that of the list of things she wanted to debate about, one was Jussie Smollett was innocent. One of her guests had said, asked, how is Jussie Smollett innocent? He was found guilty of calling in a hoax. And she said, well, true, he called in a hoax, but he's a Democrat, so that absolves him of everything. Hearing this, I actually did this. So I couldn't help but wonder, what if he was conservative? This lady struck me as the type to say, well, if he were conservative, he'd really be a guilty criminal, no questions asked. But because he's a Democrat, that suddenly his good luck charm, his talisman, what? Is everyone who has a certain label across their forehead given a talisman of any kind of crime they do? Can you imagine any thief in California or anywhere else that has a law preventing police from actually dealing out physical punishment for stealing, that they're Democrats, they can get away with it? But anyone who's a Republican, they're immediately going to say, criminal! It seems like ever since November, when Biden was voted in, people have literally been labeling each other with their political preference. Oh, you must be a Biden voter. You must be a Trump supporter. As though that's literally all that sums up their entirety of being. Not where they come from, not their religious preference or lack of, not their skin color. Now it's literally their political affiliation. And I don't know if the dynamic works that way when you decide to switch over whatever reason. And many celebrities have switched over. Others, podcasters, also have switched over for personal reasons. But these days, you literally cannot do anything without people screaming in your face about how you must be a so-and-so supporter. As though life itself depends on your political view, and if you don't go the right way, well, you may as well be a literal Nazi, a literal Soviet, a literal insert whatever demeaning, dehumanizing term you can think of. But why? And when has calling it a hoax been considered okay if you're a certain political party? Last I checked, in the United States Constitution, there's not one thing that says either party is actually much more important than the other. There's actually a system to the Constitution that explains why there should never be an overindulgence of political power to either party. And we have already seen in the last decade or so what can happen when either party suddenly gains a little too much power. And that's just a little too much power. And it was systematically designed to the point that neither party was to have the same kind of power like England did at the time. And now we're suffering from all kinds of political dissentment, whatever the right term is. I never took political science. But all in all this actually makes me quite glad I am politically independent. I've seen problems with both sides, horrible flaws in both, and the fact that neither party likes to look for any good in the other and will savagely attack the other, whether verbally with every dehumanizing name they can think of, or even get physically violent with each other over the tiniest things. I am so glad I'm not either one, because I'd probably drive myself nuts. Well, that's my political rant on current modern day political hypocrisy in America. Good times.